Hey there folks, today we've got a trio. I've been trying to get the lawnmower engine in here that's pretty common. Show you guys how to take it apart, identify the components, failure analysis, just overall one of the most common lawnmower engines that you're going to run into. This is the Briggs Quantum series. It was around for about 25 years. So I'm going to try and kill three birds with one stone. This thing here is purportedly a runner, but deck's broke, wheels broke, cables broke, handles broke, blades fucked. This thing just ready for the junk pile, so I figured make a quick video of it, and I'm going to show you a first trick for an engine that you know you're going to disassemble, but it still runs. You warm the engine oil up and drain it, and then put a little diesel fuel in there, maybe about a half a quart, run it for about 30 seconds. Drain that, and now when you take the engine apart on the bench, you don't get oil all over the fucking place. Huh? Well, I knew the deck was broke, but man, this thing's really fucked. Look at this thing. This thing's barely hanging on. I don't even know if I can start this engine to get it warmed up. I'm gonna have to do some welding, or maybe make a little bracket, hold a bolt on there just to warm it up for 5 minutes so I can get the oil out and then show you the trick and then blow it up. This is kind of stupid. So I found this little door handle slash hinge slash fender washer to shore this up. What could go wrong, right? What's wrong with that? Yeah! Oh, okay, she's good now. I'm striking out, man. I was told this thing's a runner, and I can't get it started, so I'm really starting to feel like I'm earning my no money for this. Alright, well now I guess this is actually going to be killing four birds with one stone. We're going to throw a little troubleshooting in on this too. I can smell the gas is old as shit. It smells like shellac. Here's an easy way to find out if the engine runs though, meaning, you know, you got the 4 strokes. Just give it a shot. You bypass the fuel system right into the intake with some carburetor cleaner, and then give her a pull. Okay, she blows out the hit and she says I'm not getting any gas, so that means I'm gonna have to pull the carburetor bowl, clean the carburetor out, put it back together just so I can start it, so I can drain it, so I can fill it with diesel fuel and drain it, and then blow it up. What better way to spend a sunny Sunday afternoon in the Midwest, right? Alright, remember when I said this wasn't going well at all? Well, I went to go take these bolts off and I noticed a little something. The whole thing's fucking loose. So when the engine loosened up, every other bolt on the fucking thing loosened up too, and it just shake, rattled, and rolled the thing apart. So now I gotta put a bolt in there to get a seal, because we're not getting a tight seal and air going through the carburetor to draw gas up. The air is taking the path of least resistance and going right around the back of the carburetor, sucking it into the engine. That's why we're not getting any fuel, besides the fact that there's shellac in the gas tank. It's probably a 2-part problem. So, I don't know, I might have a solid hour and a half into this thing before I fucking blow it up. Alright, a couple things. I did get lucky here. The gasket stayed on the carburetor. If you get that lucky, just leave it on there. Try not to mess it up with any carburetor cleaner or something like that. Now, the bolts are in the flange. Go to the tube for the intake manifold. But this here bracket, that bolt broke off. This thing was really, really rattling when the deck let loose. So now I've got to decide if I want to extract the bolt out of this thing, so I could bolt it, so I could start it, so I could drain the oil and then fill it up with diesel fuel, drain that, and then blow the engine up for you guys. Do a failure analysis on it. I'm really starting to get the fuckets on this one. Now the more I thought about this intake pipe It's got two bolts that bolt to the intake port on the block. Those things gotta be broke off, or they got unscrewed. It's not just this bracket bolt that broke, but those came out too. So this is never gonna seal, even on the engine side. So what I'm gonna do maybe is try and just bungee this down tight, just to start it long enough to get the engine running, and I can warm this thing up. Now, I don't do work like this. I mean, I'm not trying to be high and mighty. You know, I pee in the sink like everybody else does, but I really just wanted to demonstrate how this thing comes apart when it doesn't have any oil in it. And first I wanted to get the engine clean so that trick could be demonstrated of cleaning the engine before you actually take it apart. And then you get shit all over the bench, but we might have to abandon that. Okay, we got our bungee cord, so she's bound down pretty tight and up against the engine. And when I was on the other side finding a place to bungee to, I noticed this here as well. People of the planet Earth, when your lawnmower starts shaking and making your hands numb, stop and figure out what the fuck is going on. Would you? Down, Clarky. Just a quick recap, the deck broke and then started shaking living shit out of all the bolts on the engine, and they broke or just screwed themselves out. I've got this thing patched together just enough to maybe start. The gas was green and some water in the bottom of the carburetor. I cleaned that out, save that for another video, or I probably already did it, I don't know, doesn't really matter. But big lesson here is when your buddy calls you and says, hey man, you got a lawnmower I can have? And you go, yeah, sure. And he goes, yeah, I got one here, I'll give you it. It's a runner, it just needs a piece welded on the deck. You go, oh, okay, I'll get around to that someday. And then you end up trying to do a video and end up with this. So if you're watching, wood, thanks, you fucker. So I'm going to shoot this, start it, and hopefully just feed it and feed it and feed it until it starts running on that shitty gas. Come on, bitch. Oh, she's sucking air. As soon as the R's get too high, she's taking the path of least resistance. Might have to take that air shroud off and get some bolts in that intake manifold. My bungee cord's not working. Urgh! I think there's football on. Alright, I saved the trouble of showing the disassembly because I was going to do the disassembly once I put it back together, blow it up, and then have to take it all apart. But man, my Nostradamus technique is not working today. I really am fucking chasing my tail on this. The bolts didn't come loose. The fucking pipe broke itself right there. So what do I do now? Duct tape it? I mean, I'm kind of in too deep now to turn around and say, fuck it, we'll just get another one and do that one. Now, I'm spending a half of a day here fucking around to get this thing running just so I can blow it up. I'm gonna fucking blow it up. Alright, so I got some duct tape, but I also have some gel epoxy and some super strength super glue I took out of the first aid kit. So I'll put that on there first. I might use the epoxy, I don't know. It's only gonna have to last 5 minutes. It doesn't really matter. Why would there be super glue in the first aid kit, you might ask? Closes up most stitchable wounds pretty good. Burns like a motherfucker though, but saves you a trip to the ER. I was in high school and the guy from the National Eye Safety Institute came out with a slide video, and one of the slides was a guy who couldn't figure out why the super glue wasn't working, so he pointed it right at his face and he squeezed it, and lo and behold, it worked. Glued his eyes shut. That must have sucked some serious balls. Alright, I thought we were airtight and pussy good, but as soon as I bolted it up, she got a little flex. Super glue didn't hold that good, but I'm gonna be optimistic here and say that that's airtight enough. Let's put this thing back together and see if she starts. Alright, right back to it. Now we got see if the thing's gonna run on this shitty old gas. So I'll go back to charging the cylinder, give it a little feed for a little while, see if I can get this thing started, and we'll take it from there. Well, we had a little bit of success there. I had it running for about 30-45 seconds, and this thing was just rattling still, to the point where I'm afraid the intake pipe's going to break again, and then I'm right back to where I was. So if I want to get this thing done today, I'm going to just drain the oil, skip that step. I am going to put some diesel fuel in it, run it just for a couple seconds, and clean it up, because I do want to show you. I mean, if you ever had an engine apart, you know what the difference will be. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, it comes apart before it comes apart. I don't even know what I'm doing here, man. I gotta still get home. I'm starting to catch a buzz. Alright, a little dab will do you. Maybe about a half quart or so. If I got any. Well, shit, that ain't much. So I'm out of diesel fuel, but I'm looking around and I'm thinking, hey, look at this. You got some homemade biodiesel. Why didn't I think of that before? I mean, come on. Way to tie it in, Uncle Joe, huh? Alright, well, even though the engine's warm, it doesn't want to start. So I'm hoping it's because this gas is kind of shitty. So try this again with just the diesel fuel and the biodiesel in the crankcase for solvent action, which, by the way, biodiesel is a fantastic solvent. Come on, you cold-hearted whore. Damn it. Oh, I forgot to put the fucking spark plug back on. Okay, contact. Now, don't ever do that, because as soon as you disconnect this, it's jumping an arc. You can have a fire, all that. I don't care. We're good. This pipe is loose again. So hopefully it's tight enough to do the catastrophic engine failure after I drain this solvent out of the crankcase. Now, you know, we're very serious about safety here. Eyes, ears, move your beers. But this one we're going to take one step further. And that's eyes, ears, move your beers, and let's get the fuck out of here. So I'm standing back. Tell me that pipe broke now. Oh, she's so loose, it's not gonna work. Come on. We get to the climax of the video and I gotta go back and do the fucking pipe again? No way. God damn it. Alright, take two. I'm gonna super glue this thing again because this stuff seems to work pretty quick for just a quick set stuff. You know, it doesn't like vibration, but whatever. Now, I'm not going to trust this with the destruction video. Hopefully, it's a destruction video. These things hold up for a long time with no oil in them, so I'm not sure how long it's going to last. But I will look around for some shrink tube and hermetically seal this motherfucker this time, because that was bullshit. I had 30 seconds to go. Fucking broke. Alright, so the super glue took for the second time, but since this thing got all uppity on me last time, I'm going to put a little shrink tube over it, so even if that thing cracks in the 40, 50, 60, 90 seconds that thing is going to be running, this should seal it up. How you like me now, bitch? Okay, this is the moment I've all been waiting for. I'm gonna be standing way back there. Got a fresh beer. Well, if you scroll ahead for the money shot, hate to disappoint you, but there ain't one. I was rolling video for about 37 minutes and it came to an abrupt stop. I gave a little mass afterward explanation that I'm not trying to pump Briggs & Stratton power products of any kind. I was in MST for them and a dealer for them, but I was a dealer for all the engine lines, so I was never really particular. But this thing, no bullshit, held up 37 minutes with no oil in it. So I got two things going on. Either this thing is built like a brick shit house, or the biodiesel was a poor choice of solvent because it has 300 times the lubrication properties of diesel fuel, and maybe I just gave it a real good lube job. So won't know until I get another one of these things, and we'll have to blow another one up, which hopefully it's a little bit more of a catastrophic, you know, rod through the side of the block kind of oil everywhere, Hiroshima kind of mushroom cloud. But yeah, this was pretty fucking disappointing. So thanks for watching, and like I said, if you scrolled to the end for the money shot, I'm sorry, I'll get you next time.